look at it. So that's kind of what's going on. I feel good where we're at right now. We just put the third down package in. I feel really good. We have to be prepared for everything with Flores. So it's all about the protection up front. That's the number one thing we got, because it doesn't matter about all the plays.
And a lot there from Johnny Morton. I love what I'm hearing out of him coming out of this bye week. It sounds like he spent a lot of time looking at the very few things that this Detroit Lions offense is not doing well and trying to come up with plans, schemes, and different ways to make those mishaps or those lapses and fill those and just complete this offense. And one of them is on third down. And I saw Xavier D talk about third and long too many of the times, and that is definitely a factor when you can't run the ball efficiently on first or second down and you're behind the sticks. It just makes everything more difficult. But I do look at the offensive line in that, because when he talked about the protection on third and long to give Jared Goff time to read a defense, and then running the ball early in the game is on the offensive line as well. So I believe once we see more of that, once we see more cemented run blocking and fluid run blocking, then we'll see that third down percentage start to tick up, because you won't be looking at 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9. It'll be more like 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, and then you have a lot more of a playbook to open up to.
Yeah, I mean, he even said, he said, I'd be happy to get to 4th and 2. I'd be happy to get to 4th and 2, but a lot of times we're not even able to get there. So to me, look, it's a flat-out issue when statistically you have the exact same number of third down conversions as the Tennessee Titans, who are led by a rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
So that is, as high-powered and as great as this offense is, 30-plus points per game, all of that stuff, great. But you need to convert on third down. You need to, because you are just continuously putting yourself in bad situations with that. And I think they will. I think they will correct it. I think a lot of this is just a connection issue. I think you need to be connected, You just need to be connected. So, and once you get that connectivity between your offense, you will cook. I promise you. Everything he said is completely fixable. Is there anybody, Nick, do you think there's anything in there that is a sign of trouble that, we're not going to be able to right this ship?
Nothing that he said specifically. I just don't know if it's going to be as of the quality of years past, because you think about your left guard, your center, and your right guard all being new pieces basically at those positions, compared to having the Pro Bowl and the Hall of Fame center, the Pro Bowl right guard in Zeitler, Hall of Fame center, in Frank Ragnow, where you're not getting that push like you're used to seeing from the Detroit Lions of last year. I think that is just a flat out, it's going to be hard to replicate that until these guys have more and more reps behind them. Mahogany, Ratledge, at right guard. So I think just not having that push in the middle, it makes life so much easier, not just on your running game, but for Jared Goff to know that he has those two vets who have played hundreds and hundreds of games between Ragnow and Zeitler. He doesn't have that right now, and Graham's been doing pretty well, but, Graham Glasgow isn't Frank Ragnow, and it's not fair to expect him to be that. So I was expecting a little bit of a drop-off. You're seeing a little bit of a drop-off, but I believe they can get it up to a level by the end of the year that is Super Bowl, caliber, after these guys just get more and more reps together. And that's what you're going to need to see them continue to grow week by week. And they've played some good defenses with Green Bay and obviously Kansas City. So just for them to keep on getting tested, and they will. You're going into Philly in a few weeks here. So if you're not ready for Jalen Carter or Jordan Davis, I don't know what you're going to be ready for. So it's going to be a great test coming up, and even the Commanders. So I'm excited to see how this young offensive line, even the Vikings this Sunday. So let's see how this young O-line progresses on the guard spots. Can they get the push in the interior where it makes life easier for David Montgomery, for Jahmyr Gibbs, and, put Goff in a position where he trusts the pass protection, where he can sit back and find Sam Laporta, find St. Brown like he's continued to do to pick up those big third downs.
Absolutely. And that's what I loved about Johnny Morton is he didn't say, this guy needs to be better. Everybody needs to be better. Goff needs to have better recognition. The receivers need to do a better job of getting open. The offensive line needs to do a better job of pass protection. He needs to do a better job of play calling and scheming guys open. So it really seems like he has been digging in this bye week. I expect this Lions offense to look better than it has all season against the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like, I think that the Detroit Lions, just like last year, you go back to the first 4, 5, 6 weeks of the season, I believe every year there's chemistry that's going to be needed to be developed. It just is how it is, especially when you're talking about the way that the Lions utilize preseason or the lack thereof. So there's already going to be this notion of their timing that needs to get down. And last year, Dan Campbell said it's all correctable. This year, what did they say? It is all correctable.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like we're talking about them being just that far away from perfection. They're already one of the best offenses in all of the NFL. They have weapons galore. It's just a notion, I believe, of them working out what other teams are trying to do to discombobulate them. I put this in the same boat as the JMO thing. You got a notion of a lot of mouths to feed and teams recognizing that even more so now.
And again, people remember, we talk about all these things. We talk about things they need to improve on a top 3 offense that's averaging over 30 points per game in the National Football League. So it's first world problems. Let's go to break. We're going to get to the other side of the ball. Calvin Shepard also had a lot to say about his defense, about his job position, about different things, the trade deadline. We're going to have him talking about Hutch coming up next. But first, let me tell you about Jack's Car Wash. Listen,